Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 21 with our Detroit Tigers and our save. And as you can see here today, we are continuing a part 2 of our offseason. First video, or the first half of the offseason, of course, is already out. So let's get right into it. And here you can see we are in our messages. Jake Marisnik, a player we offered up to in the last episode, signed, so we're going to go ahead and add him to the active roster. And then another notification here, looks like Jesus Alvarez is not happy with the contract that we offered him. Of course, we offered him a deal around $6.5 million per year, and see his ratings here. Of course, a decent 3-star potential pitcher, and he's now asking for over $8 million. And of course, I'm sure that price will go up as well. Under what he probably would be worth if he was a regular major league free agent. And of course, I really don't think we're gonna keep offering up, as I'm sure that price will keep going up, because our rotation pretty much is set for this year anyway, and that doesn't even include Scaball, who we definitely want to get innings in the rotation this year. Probably over Norris. I'd assume that he'd get time over him. So of course, here also we are in the middle of the winter meetings, and let's just go ahead and take a look at other guys that we offered to. Of course, looking at it, looks like all of those guys are liking the offers. Ooh, looks like Quintana is available. He has had surgery last year. He was decent, looks like, in the innings that he did pitch last year, only 6 Ks per 9 though. He's also only asking for 6.5 per year. So honestly, that could be a thing that we monitor to see if he would take a low deal, and then we could flip him around for another for some good talent at the deadline. But I just want to point out another offer that we did make, that I made off camera and forgot to do, was we made an offer to Roberto Ramos, a guy who 25-year-old first baseman who played in the KBO last year, where he was not particularly good, but he did actually play in AAA in Albuquerque the year before, where he 400 OBP, 580 slugging, worth almost 4 wins. So definitely got to take a flyer on. And of course, we do have Vargas at first base, but of course, I mean, he could very well be a depth option. So Ramos, there's a good chance he could be our starting first baseman this season, where we just see, honestly, just what we have in him. Just taking a flyer on a guy who doesn't really have any experience in the U.S. besides a AAA stint 2 years ago. But definitely a guy I'm interested to see what he can develop in. And we're just going to go ahead here and move another step closer towards the end of the offseason. Go up to the Rule 5 draft here, where we hopefully we'll be able to find some young talent to get in our ball club. And just quick check here our minor league teams, which I, for some reason, always have trouble finding. But we'll just do it this way. So AAA Toledo and AA Erie. So I honestly probably could have figured that out on my own, but for some reason I just could not remember. Okay, so what are we looking for? Toledo and Erie. Yeah, so sort alphabetically. Toledo, okay. Nothing I'm really too concerned about here. Just 26-year-old middle infielder Mercer, I know I don't care about. Kind of interesting guy here, possibly. See if he can get similar ratings between righty and lefties. I believe we do have 10 spots left on our 40-man. So I think, honestly, I think I might go ahead. Yeah, I think what we're going to do here is we're actually going to add that first baseman / that corner infield guy to the 40-man, and just, I mean, there's no real hurt and if we lose him, because he really hasn't done anything at this point. And then Erie is what we're also looking for, and Wencel Perez, young infielder. He's definitely not going to be We'll just go ahead and add him to the 40-man because I don't want to lose him. Of course, Castro's not definitely penciled in at short. So there is a chance that he could maybe come up this year if we really need him, but I'm honestly not too concerned with that. And looking at some guys here, there are a bunch of guys available here actually. Steven Almeas maybe. Good defensive guy. Decent hitting ratings, no power. Now in this kind of looking at guys to bring up, I definitely don't like Rule 5 in guys who really haven't played above AA. I'd like to see them have at least a full season in AA. And Garcia, I know he's in the Nationals organization in real life, and a high A last year. He was very good for them. He is, 20 years old? Can really play pretty much any infield position. Ryan Bannon now. I'm just see if our scouting director actually makes a recommendation. I know they usually suggest veterans catcher there. Oh, that's right. We definitely do need to bring on a catcher. I keep forgetting about that. That we basically have zero depth at the catching position on our team right now. Seems like a lot of these guys are basically just pretty decent defensive infielders. Bobby Dalbec, he could be interesting. I think we actually might go with him, and then he would probably slot in at first base. He's good against lefties, so we could play him. Kind of a platoon with Ramos if he signs. So I think we're going to pick him actually first. I mentioned a save in this game earlier, and he was pretty good in that save that I had. Jared Walker, first baseman here, left-handed first base option. He can also play outfield, it looks like. A little corner outfield. He can also play third base, apparently, which is kind of interesting. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw bat left, and I just assumed right away that he was strictly a lefty. He could be an interesting guy to get. And the shortstop could be interesting. Good defensive guy. Honestly, I might go after this Jared Walker guy. He wouldn't be a bad guy to have. And if Ramos doesn't sign... Oh, I did not mean to do that. I accidentally skipped the pick. Shoot. Yikes. Yikes. I cannot believe I did that. Okay, please. Okay, well, I guess that works though. Although I thought if you skip a pick that you can't do anything with that. And I think we're just going to also take this guy. So we're gonna complete the draft and do that. So getting the Rule 5 draft out of the way, I'm pretty happy. Although again, I actually want to check Ramos real quick, because I kind of remember seeing that he was a B compensation guy. Type B, which I don't understand why he's listed as that. But if we have Walker, I just want to make sure we got him real quick. We did get Jared Walker, so first actually, and we got Dahlback. So honestly, if we have those guys, there's no real reason in bringing Ramos, especially if he does require compensation. And Vargas, it looks like he's a little better against righties. He's more power, but he still does look decent. So I think I actually might just cancel the offer on Ramos, because we would have a lot of corner guys, probably too many, with adding Bobby Dalbec, because of course we have Candelario, we have Paredes, who's not a third baseman, who I definitely don't want to develop as a third baseman, but he is listed there now. And I really would like him to play a position and not DH this early in his career. So I think No, I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take back our offer on Ramos, even though he doesn't really want anything. Money wise, I definitely don't want to give up a pick for him, and I'm coming back here to snag a catcher. I don't really want to pay anyone anything, but see, Flowers could be interesting. Brian Holiday, former tagger, I believe. Pretty decent hitting ratings, actually. Yeah, he was with the Tigers, right? Yeah, no, he was with us before. Average accuracy, Lucroy. Maybe bring him in, veteran guy. I'm definitely going to bring one of these guys, and I think Brian Holiday. Seems like also a lot of these guys are decent in the field, which is what I want. Yeah, I think we actually are going to bring Holiday on for that. So we're gonna skip ahead to Hall of Fame voting here and check that out. Okay, so before we get in the Hall of Fame voting, actually we have to address a bunch of our signings that we got. So we of course offered all of these guys contracts, and they all happened to sign. So Cozart, Dozier, and Dylan Cousins all decided to sign on with the team. So we're going to be adding them. Just take a quick look here on how they're going to be slotting in, at least for now. Looking at that, so nothing too crazy. Of course, this probably is going to be how it shakes out in the regular season, because of course a bunch of things will change. The makeup of who's on the roster is going to change from what was shown there, so it's going to be changing there. So now we'll actually get to the Hall of Fame results, barring of course that nobody that we offered signs on and before. So I'll skip ahead to then so we don't waste too much time on loading screens and things like that. Okay, so just checking in here quick before the Hall of Fame voting results are out. Brian Holiday is signed on, and I think that does it for all of the guys we offered. So then we're just gonna go ahead and skipping through. Okay, so we're back here on the day of the Hall of Fame voting results, and as you can see, 3 guys get in the Hall of Fame this year. Bonds, Schilling, and Clemens. Of course, Bonds and Clemens reported on steroids. I'm pretty sure they'll both get in real life. Maybe, not in this year in the game, but I mean, I do think it'll probably happen based on the trajectory of course, like their voting percentages and how close they're getting to the 75% threshold. So I'm pretty sure they will be getting in on that. So there is that update. Okay, so we are back here at opening day after spring training, and we didn't really have any injuries. I go down in spring training, and I'll trim the roster down to our active roster in a second. But first here, as you can see, we are looking at the top prospect report, where you can see the guys that we're looking at. So as you see here, debuting at number 5 is our guy that we selected, Jordan Walker. And quick, of course, look at his ratings here. Great power bat, looks like he's going to be for us. Good defender as well at the corner. So it looks to be a good player for us. And see another guy here, Austin Martin, who is the 2nd overall pick. He is also looking to be pretty good. I don't actually remember seeing this guy when we were drafting, but he does look pretty good. I don't know if I would. I mean, as a shortstop, of course, he probably projects better to be a better player, more valuable player than Walker, but I'm actually not too sure if he is a shortstop. As you see, he is or at least not a good defensive shortstop. Maybe if his offense is good enough, he could stick maybe at shortstop and be a valuable guy, but his defensive ratings aren't that great. But of course, anyways, let's take a look at the top prospect report by team, and our system is ranked as the second best in the major leagues. It looks behind the Rays, who are kind of way ahead of us, and then we of course have kind of a gap on everyone else, it looks like. So we have Jordan Walker and then Michael Flores, a guy who is a 6th round pick for us. Looks like he could be a pretty good starter too. A decent fastball, but 2 really plus breaking pitches there. Kind of a soft-armed guy, so of course that those secondary pitches are pretty important for him. And then take a look, Riley Green, who's on the list last year, a 20-year-old corner outfield guy. Looks like he is developing pretty nicely. More of a hitter than an outfield defender, but he had a good year in low A last year, 363 on base, and was even better in his time in rookie ball that he saw last year. And then going forward, more Brendan White, I should say. Not too impressed by his ratings there. OSA ratings like him more than our scout does. And then of course our guy who we signed in as an international guy last year, Dave Aguirre, I believe. Hitting ratings still looking very nice, and of course he's a decent outfield defender, but has a fantastic arm out there. So let's get into trimming our major league roster down. And I think I'm definitely going to send a Haas down, as I'd still like to see what Rogers can kind of do. Plus, he is pretty decent behind the plate. We're going to send down Perez, who was never going to start the season with us, the big league team anyway. Going to send down Robson, Stewart. Oh, did not want to DFA him. There's no sense in doing that. We'll still keep him around since he still has options left, and we still have 20 guys on the roster. Wow. Yeah, this is our guy who we put on the 40-man earlier. So we're going to go ahead and send him down. We have Walker. We have Vargas. I think Vargas we're going to send down. We'd have to DFA him. Definitely going to send down Lugo. We don't need him, whatever. We can DFA him. Do not care about that. Paredes, do we want him to start on the big league team? Think we actually... Okay, well, it'll depend on who we have here. Marisnik, I think we're going to start him in AAA, and he's going to just be kind of a veteran depth guy, because I'd like to keep a lot of these guys on the major league roster. Peters will send down. So we have 16, need to cut it to 13, of course. Cozart, could we keep him maybe in the minors as a depth kind of guy? Because I'd like to see what our Rule 5 guy can do. Okay, so yeah, he's fine with going down, and of course he is on a fully guaranteed major league contract. Okay, I think Vargas, I mean, there's just no sense in having 2 first basemen on the roster when we have guys like Candelario, Dahlbeck, who can also spell at first base. Dozier's at second. He's actually DHing for some reason right now. So we're at 14. And honestly, Goodrum might be the guy to send down. I don't think he has any options left. I really wish I could sim forward ahead of day. I should have really done this a day ahead of time so I could see kind of how the roster pans out with all of these guys. Because, okay, we have our 3 starting outfielders, and then Cousins on the bench in the outfield, and of course Goodrum can play outfield as well, at least a corner outfield, not particularly well, but okay, so he can go down. I think we'll do that for now. Keep Derek Hill. Actually, no, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to send Hill down, and we're going to keep a Goodrum because I like his positional versatility. So we'll do that. I don't understand why. Okay, so we can't do that until we trim back down the active roster. So, okay, so we put... Okay, I guess we only have 12 on the active roster. Oh yeah, because we sent down... what's it called? We sent down both Hill and Goodrum. So Faedo, he's going to go down. DeCaster, he's going to definitely go down. He was terrible for us last year, so we're going to need one more to cut one more guy from our roster. I honestly think we'll probably just do one of these random relievers that we have, and we'll leave both Turnbull and a Skubal on the roster, of course. I think it might be this dude. Okay, maybe not him because he doesn't have any options left. Okay, fine with that. And now we can bring Goodrum back up, and that should have Reyes slotted in to center with Hill down. And of course, Jacoby Jones can play center too. So we'll sim a day just to get our opening day positional lineup. So okay, so we win our first opening day game over Kansas City 4-3. Manning getting his first opening day start, so that's kind of cool to say. So this is how our line was going to chalk up. Reyes is in center, Dozier at DH. So I think we're going to leave it at that for now. I might change it around a little bit. Cousins starting in right field. So I think we're going to leave it at this. Dahlbeck at third, Paredes, Candelario on the bench. I might switch around so Dozier or Paredes are at second because I definitely don't want Goodrum to be getting these at bats. So I think I'm actually going to do that real quick. Whereas Candelario can't play a second. Honestly, I think we're going to go with... he looks like he played some right field. Oh, he can play outfield. And actually, he can play outfield pretty well. So I think... Okay, for now, I think we're going to slot him into second base, actually. Yeah, we're going to force him to play second base if our manager can allow it and help him develop there, because he's never going to be a third baseman. At least I don't think. At least not a good one. But I wouldn't mind playing him there in a pinch. So we're going to set him as a second baseman and let him develop there for a while. He does have a good arm, but he doesn't have a lot of range, so I'm kind of concerned at him being a third baseman. He at least won't be a good third baseman. He has a plus arm, but that's about it. So we're definitely going to develop him as second base, and he does have the speed to be a good outfielder, so maybe his future is as an outfielder for us, but of course, we could try him out there over the course of the year, but nonetheless, this video is already probably too long, so we're going to cut it here and then get to later in the year. So I'm about to start this second season, of course. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time, which will probably be at the first year player draft.